Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, and atheist, one, two, and all in between. This is for the absolute positive, good God and truth of your lives, only crossing bigger and better, alive and well forever. Don't crisscross a nutty, fruity, Shiva shafting, he shafting, lion head snake of faith, hallucinating that people, places, and things cross bad, evil, and sinful. All faith is always less than what is good as truth. And when you crisscross with faith, it is a nutty, fruity bushwhack on the matter of you. Meaning, all faith, right, is a gamble and a crapshoot to what is good as truth. And even though all faith has positive variables, there is no good faith as truth, because no faith is only lasting more positive than negative. The only way you can add up, stay, or be good is truth. And in the beginning, the world was a true sister reflection of the Son of God, the one God, shining with pyramids all over all, at every point of time and space, with the thieving Holy Spirit out of the Adam man evolved of all I am. And then the world was snaked by Shiva, shafted by the devilish spirit of Samael. And Adam woke up in the garden with Eve at his rib, by his side, at all sides of him, right? And he took on this nutty, fruity, bushwhacking snake articulation of faith to the reality check of his shape, form, and mass. And because of it, with the fruit of faith, right, and Eve not knowing any better because she came from the inhabitants of the garden, which was Shiva's shafting inbred inhabitants, right? He lived 930 years, and it was in suffering and hardship. And prior to that, Adam was eons and eons old. And he was the god and the king of the pyramids around the world, the megalithic world of the men of old. Wherever these pyramids were where the men of old were stated prior to being Shiva shafted by the devil. And when he came to himself in the garden, Yahweh, Yadabaoth, all different aspects of Samuel, the Shiva shafting snake god of all reality check, had shafted the world and broke the continents up into 7 parts, or broke one continent up into 7 parts, 7 continents. And through his Nagas, they are the blue-blooded dynasties of the world, all the way up to Mount Hermon. Now, anything you hear about demons in the garden, or Shiva creating the body of Adam, he recreated the mind of Adam through his body to the world with this lesser depiction of faith, a nutty, fruity bushwhacker on his matter, to one neutral, nothing, just infinitely negative of him here and now, okay? And if Adam would have known to only cross back Eve one more positive always, then all nutty, fruity, faithful bad ways of them, right? That's all Cain and Abel would have been, and that's all the world would be today. And what I'm stating would be 1-0. But when he woke up in the garden, he had no good sense of reality. He knew he was created good as truth, never to be destroyed, never to die. But he had lost the articulation of his own. And when he looked up and he saw Eve, she was the best thing going, and her knowledge was less than him. That was less than his, which was good as truth. And because of this, right, he bonded with a lesser knowledge, which is the faith of the devil, okay? It's the faith of the world, right? And it's always corrupt and biased. It's always negatively deficient to what is good as truth. If any faith was good as truth, that's all any of us would be for faith. But because no faith is good as truth, it is the corruption of the world. It is the he shafting devil by bias and definition on all things that is good as truth. It's only a lie always to what is good as truth, because no faith, no matter the positive variables of it, is lasting good as truth. So therefore, when you take on this faith, right, no matter how positive it is, because it teaches that things cross bad, evil, and sinful, right, it has you in a state of decay and disintegration, suffering yourself in all you are by example, blind leading blind, to one nothing of you here and now, just infinitely negative of you here and now, eventually, for your faith. See, all faith articulates anything negative about it as bad, evil, and sinful, and it's unevolved to bring those things back. Only one more positive always, by example, to be good as truth. And because of this, right, no one knows to only bring back anything negative, which is the bad, evil, sinful way of them, more positive to be good as truth. And in reality, because we don't do this, it's the only thing that makes us suffer out of existence, decay, disintegrate, or die. And Jesus Christ knew this, and he was an example of a man who only crossed one more positive than all negativity. And he knew that if the sun didn't shine more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about the earth, right, no life to the reality check of mankind could exist. And even though he was tongue-tied to a language that did not express the positives and negatives of him, only the good and bad of him, he knew as an example of his life that he had to be more positive always than any faithful negativity, right? It was the only way he could add up, stay, or be good as truth. It's the only way anybody of anything could add up, stay, or be good as truth. So with his life, he set that example. And when they put him on the cross, the thief recognized it, right? And he bonded one more positive than any negativity between them. And they were good as truth, right? And anywhere anything's more positive than negative by articulation, not only is it good as truth, it cannot be destroyed. And Jesus knew this. See, from the mind through the body to the world, if you only set yourself preset one more positive than all negativity, and for some reason you can't get your bearings from your mind through your body to the world, right? And you go out, right? It's all your body knows to be. And the thief understood this. And the only people who died that day and every day after that, right, was these fools of faith that put Jesus on the cross, and that fool of faith that hung himself out negatively deficient to one neutral nothing of him good as truth here and now, just infinitely negative of him here and now. And they stole their lives back. Jesus understood, right, that the thief would wake up before him. He didn't scream out, "Oh God, why have you forsaken me?" He screamed out, "Oh God, don't forsake me. I am good as truth. Keep me more positive than negative." And when they woke up, right, the thief rolled back the tomb, right, let Jesus out alive and well and sent him on his rightful, truthful way. Mary seen the thief. The thief explained, "I just released him out of this tomb," right? He's standing there shining way more positive than anything negative that that was killing him on the cross, right? And lied it out. Mary seen it. He said he went that away. She kissed him, right, and called him an angel. And this is how this story went. Again, Jesus understood the good truth of the megalithic world and Adam and the example he had to set. And I'm going to show you exactly what Jesus knew to the good truth of his shape, form, and mass, and how you can only express it to the good truth of God of your shape, form, and mass. Okay? Again, don't crisscross a nutty, fruity, he shafting devil, right? A demiurge of demonic urges, right? Of faith, okay? Because this articulation, right? The bad, evil, sinful way of it, right? Only has its followers blind to the fact that all those things are just negative and they always have to cross them back one more positive to be good as truth. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth. So if you do this, right, you will never be lasting good as truth, because no faith is good as truth. You'll just be a lion head snake on the good God and truth of your body. And it's the neutral nothing, and that's a fact of God check, God, truth, and reality check. Like I stated, if the sun doesn't shine more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about the earth, no life as we know it could exist or keep existing to the reality check of mankind. If you don't shine more positive than anything negatively neutronic about you, your life as you know it won't exist or keep existing. If you plug a plug into the wall, the positive energy better outweigh anything negatively deficient about that plug, because if not, right, you could either burn your house down or your appliances won't work correctly, okay? If you don't shine more positive than anything negative about your life, right, your life won't keep lasting and working correctly, okay? But if you plug a plug into a wall, right, and you keep the energy more positive than anything negative about it, right, it's impossible for you not to have enough energy for your house to sustain, and it's also impossible for your house to burn down for it. And it's impossible for your house not to be good as truth to the reality check of the flow of electricity going to it. And it's the same with your body. If you keep yourself more positive than anything negative about it, right, it's impossible for you to be anything but good as truth. And that good as truth, anything stated good as truth, right, can only be the absolute bigger, better here and now of it than all negativity, meaning you can't come to no suffering, harm, or death, or ever be destroyed for being more positive than negative. That does not happen. That only destroys negativity to one nothing of the here and now. The only thing that can kill you out with suffering and death. You're half male and you're half female. Only cross one more positive male than any female negativity about your matter. It's the only way, again, you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, only to an absolute bigger, better here and now of you. I don't care if it's one atom or it's a mountain of atoms. If these atoms and their matter are stated more positive than negative, they are stated good as truth, and they can't be destroyed. And they can only be the absolute bigger, better of the here and now of their matter than all negativity. If Adam would have known to cross Eve back one more positive again, then all nutty, fruity, faithful negativity that had him a lion head snake, a bushwhacking, he shafted snake on his matter. That's all any of us would ever be. That's all Cain and Abel would have been. That's all Eve would have been. That's all the world would be. Okay. But he couldn't connect back to what was good as truth after the world was he shafted by Samuel, Yahweh, Yadabael. And in reality check, right, it's a shafting lie on all mankind to cross with faith. Okay. All creation of existence is made of atom matter evolved. Okay. Inside of all atoms, creation of existence is protons and neutrons. And on the outside of the atoms, right, is the electron field. Well, anything that isn't your matter puts off its own energy. And depending on your polarity, right, is depending on if this energy is affecting you negatively or positively to the good truth of your shape, form, and mass. Now, the protons are 2 up quarks, 1 down quark, and the neutrons are 2 down quarks, 1 up quark. All right? The proton is the positive energy of the good truth of God of you, right? And the neutrons are not neutral, and they're not nothing of a charge of their own. They're always negatively deficient of a proton, and they're both opposite polarities. And the neutron is the soul and the matter of you. And without the proton always overwhelming any negative charge of it to one nothing of it, right, inside of an atom, it's always in a negative state of radioactive decay and disintegration. And on the outside of an atom, right, when a neutron is an overwhelm more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about it, and neutronic negativity isn't one nothing, right? It's in a constant state of decay and disintegration, and it pulsates erratically with negative energy. When it's part of a neutron star, they call it a pulsar. And eventually, because it's not being overwhelmed more protonic always, right, than anything negatively neutronic about it, right, it collapses into a black hole abyss where the matter can't sustain the negativity of it. And it's just infinitely negative of it here and now. One nothing of it here and now. When you crisscross negative with negativity, right, it's the incarnate he shafting devil as hells of all people, places, and things. I mean, to cross negative with negativity is the incarnate he shafting devil of you, right? The hells of you, the only devilish hells you will ever know. And if you're a man or a woman, right, the only way you can crisscross negative with negativity by choice is with the faith of you, okay? Because by choice, faith is always lesser than only crossing one more positive and protonic. The only way you could solidify the negative neutronic matter, good as truth, nothing of negativity. And when you crisscross with this faith, right, that is no good as truth, like I've explained earlier, or that's all we'd be for our faith as Adam and Eve, right? It cannot stabilize the neutrons of you, the negative of them, to one nothing, overwhelming them more positive always. And what happens is just like Shiva shafted the world. He's a snake god devil that shafted the world, right? That Adam come from. He shafts your matter with this faith, this lesser knowledge, because it's a snake of energy on the neutrons. See, you're prescribed only one way here and now. Good as truth is your shape, form, and mass, only more positive than anything negative that would not have you here and now. So when you hallucinate nutty and fruity, that the world around you is a bushwhack on you of a bad, evil, sinful way, and you don't recognize that is just negative and only cross back more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about that neutron, right? It's the neutral nothing, because you have it overwhelmed that negativity to one nothing to that neutron. And that negativity is a constant state of decay and disintegration on your matter. And as you hallucinate over a volume of time or extremes, that you cross bad, evil, and sinful through this articulation of the devil of you, right? The faith of you, right? A snake on the matter of you, right? Eventually, your matter can't sustain this. And you collapse into a black hole abyss. You become a black hole abyss of your matter, right? By example to all you love, cherish, and honor, by not always overwhelming any negativity of you, only more positive and protonic, and your matter can't sustain it. And you collapse into this black hole abyss, and it's infinitely just negative of you here and now, with the devilish hills of you forevermore. You can tell a monkey or a doggy, no, bad boy, sit, stay, lay, right? Basic commands, they'll understand that. You can tell the faithful, right, that have been indoctrinated so much, along with those animals, right? No, sit, stay, lay. They'll understand those basic commands. But you will never be able to tell that animal, right, to only go do something more positive than negative. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, only to an absolute bigger, better here and now of you. And if you've been faithfully indoctrinated for so long, right, to try and explain to you that things don't cross bad, evil, and sinful, well, in reality check, you'd have a better chance of moving a mountain. You hear me? Because I've tried it. And I'm going to keep it real with you. It, for the most part, doesn't work. They cannot comprehend to only bring all that negativity back more positive always. And for that reason, they'll never be lasting good as truth, only to an absolute bigger, better of the here and now of their matter. How about you? The state of one more positive than negative is the only light, joy, warmth, good God or truth, holy with spirit, all will ever know or be. It's the only state that all in body of atom matter evolved is stated good to the truth of God, their shape, form, mass, only crossing bigger and better to the here and now of reality check. It's the only state that all prayers are answered in, all miracles happen in, all dreams come true in, and it's the only heavenly abode and paradise you'll ever know or be in. And it's the absolute bigger, better here and now than all negativity. Jesus said, where two or more come together in my name, I am there. Where two or more atoms cross and bond, one more positive than all negativity, they make the good truth of God of every shape, form, and mass you could think of, not to exclude every dimension of time and space you could think of, and every shape, form, and mass of the God of Allah of all reality check. I am the good truth of God, of the life of Jesus Christ. I am the absolute bigger, better of the thieving Holy Spirit out of all mankind's negativity to one neutral nothing. I absolutely positively am. See, this is a faithful world, no matter where you are in the world, right? Our governments are stated through faith. Our religions are stated through faith. And no faith is good as truth. That's why It's called the devil's world, okay? That's why they say we're living, Gnostics say we're living in bondage, we're imprisoned in matter. But really, this isn't a true articulation of what's going on as far as the imprisonment of matter. What it is this, right? The pleroma of you is the more positive energy than anything negative matter of you that would have you enslaved through faith from your mind through your body to the world as the bad, evil, sinful, crisscrossing way of it, okay? Now, every time our leadership states that things cross bad, evil, and sinful, and then they make victims, crooks, prisons, jails, wars, the conflicts, convicts of us by articulation, right? Just like the Gnostics believe, right? They are the overseers and the devils of death. You hear me? Because in reality check, they're, by example, not only taking all that negativity and bringing it back to a more positive, enlightened way of being. And it's slavery to the reality check of anybody who has to deal with it, overcome it, and be better than it, okay? Because it is a bondage on you with this articulation always. See, I'm the leadership of my children, right? If I don't make sure that my children have a good home, right? Enough food, enough to eat, drink, right? And a good education, a proper way to sustain, I'm neglecting my children. If my children do something wrong, right, and then I hold this against my children, right, I call them bad, evil, and sinful, right, and then I lock them up like animals in cages, right, I'm neglecting my children. This is child abuse. Well, when the overseers of us do this to us, right, not recognizing that we're all children of God and we only need to be brought to a more positive, enlightened state of being, right, to make the world good as truth. The only way anybody of anything can be good as truth, okay? They're only negative with negativity through the faith of them of it. And in reality, it's the incarnate he shafting devil of all people, places, and things to cross negative with negativity. And it is the faith of the world. It is the reality check of the lack of knowledge of faith, the lack of gnosis, right? Because gnosis is knowledge. And it's a nutty, fruity, bushwhacking articulation on anybody who has to deal with it or overcome it. But in reality check, it's no problem, because I know as a fact of God check, God truth reality check, that anything more positive, right, than negative, right, by energy, by power, by the absolute reality check of it, is more powerful every way. And if you look out in all time and space, right, the smallest speck of light, of the energy of light, right, is more powerful than all the darkness and gloom of all creation of existence for one reason only. Despite all of it, it only adds up and shines bigger and better than any and all of it. And that is a fact of God, is the good God and truth of the man up to the reality check of the faithful I am. And that is God, truth of reality check for the full thief man, God King, Atomist man, the bonding atom man evolved, of all I am, the Father, Son, and thieving Holy Spirit, of all mankind's negativity to one neutral nothing. I absolutely positively am. That's God, truth, a reality check. Peace.